Hello everyone, my name is Woodman, and I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel. In this video, we will be talking about opening your speech. This is important because this is the moment that will determine if people will continue to listen to the rest of your speech, or if they will tune it out because it does not seem interesting to them. Of course, the way you open your speech will depend on the type of audience you are speaking to, but you want to make sure you spend the first 30 to 60 seconds laying out what you are going to talk about and hooking your audience along with your speech. Let's start with knowing your audience. This is where you try to understand where your audience is coming from. To do this, you need to find out who is going to be in the audience. Here are some questions you ask the organizers of any event you are invited to speak at. How big is the audience? What kind of people will be present in the audience? What is the anticipated demographic? For example, young, old, students, professionals, political, apolitical, male, female, white, black, Hispanic, Asian, etc. All of these things matter because once you have a detailed breakdown of the members of your prospective audience, you can focus your language and tailor your arguments towards them. You want to ensure your message is relevant and applicable to your specific audience because if not, they will tune you out. The key benefit of knowing your audience is that it grants you the ability to modify the language you use to convey your arguments. You might think you are going into a room to say one thing, but realize you have to change some stuff around or change some stuff up to ensure everyone understands your message and relates to it. You should not have a one-size-fits-all approach for every speech you give because, again, everyone's interests are different from each other. You have to be adaptable with targeting different arguments to different audiences. Otherwise, the audience will question why they are listening to you in the first place. When it comes to adapting your speeches, everything from varying tone and volume to varying content and emphasis matters. You would adjust your tone, strong or soft, serious or conversational, more passionate or less. Just as important is your volume, depending on whether you are addressing 5 people in a small conference room, 500 people in an auditorium, or millions of people watching you on television or on the internet. Making these adjustments is necessary even when you are trying to make the same argument in front of each of those very different audiences. Whenever you take the spotlight, metaphorically or literally, you need to be flexible. Be willing to customize your speech, even the shape of your arguments, to whoever it is you want to win over. If you learn as much as you can about the audience members who you are trying to address, persuade, and convince, you will find that it is much easier to structure your arguments. To be clear, you are not changing your entire argument or just telling people what they want to hear. You are mainly presenting your argument in such a way that people feel comfortable getting on board with that argument because you have specifically tailored it to their interests or identities. It is a bad idea to give the same speech to different types of people in different types of venues. By adapting your approach and finding a common language, you immediately get people to relate to what you are saying because the language applies to them. So remember to cite facts, figures, and quotes that not only strengthen your argument, but also appeal to the specific audience in front of you. After you get to know your audience, the next thing you want to do is grab their attention. One thing you must keep in mind is the average human loses concentration after 8 seconds, according to a 2015 study conducted by researchers at Microsoft. When it comes to giving a speech, you have very, very little time to capture an audience's attention before they tune you out and start thinking about something else or scrolling on their phones. We live in an online era where everyone, everywhere is on their smartphones almost all the time. You will be speaking for 20, 30, 40 minutes, yes, but if the people you are addressing get distracted or worse, bored at the very start, the rest of your presentation will end up being a huge waste of time for you and for them. No matter what speech you give, you want to start in a very clear, direct, and unique manner. For any speeches you have seen, you might have heard speakers start by saying one or more of these following statements. Quote, "Thank you for having me," or "Thank you for inviting me. I'm so glad to be here with you today. How are you all doing?" Unquote. While there is nothing inherently wrong with these statements, they are not attention-grabbing statements. You must grab your audience attention in the very first minute, ideally in the very first 10 or 20 seconds. Ideally, put yourself in the mindset of your audience and think about what would immediately grab their attention. Here are some ways you can do this. One, you could start with a strong opening line. This is something unexpected, provocative, and contrary even. Of course, you want to keep this appropriate and relevant to your speech, but it should be something you believe will get them hooked. Two, you could start with a question. This should be a provocative question that gets your audience thinking about something that they should look out for in your speech. Three, you can start with a story. This can be a personal anecdote that resonates to you. You can increase your chances of hooking your audience if your story is funny and gets people laughing and relaxed and paying attention. Storytelling helps with instant engagement because everyone loves a good story. Plus, our brains are built to fall in love with a good story, one that taps into imagination and empathy from the very beginning. Essentially, pay close attention to your first sentence if you want everyone to pay attention to what you have to say. Surprise your audience with a strong one-liner, an irresistible question, or an engaging story. You will see people's eyes turn to you instead of daydream or their phones. Once you get people's attention, you want to keep their attention. Remember, the goal is to get your audience on your side. The point is to influence people watching and listening to your speech. This is key for making sure they believe in your message and they are willing to follow it. To keep your audience's attention and keep them on your side, you need to effectively connect with your audience. You want to appeal to them with arguments that tap into their beliefs, which are built upon clearly knowing your audience. Here's how to connect with them. One, you want to make eye contact with them. You have to try and look people in the eye when you speak to them, and also try and make eye contact with people across the whole room. This is so you do not leave some parts of the audience feeling left out and you are not constantly staring at someone for a long time. Having eye contact makes the audience feel heard and involves them in your speech. Another thing is when you give a written speech, do your best to not directly read from your notes or from PowerPoint slides. Your audience might already have your notes and read the notes themselves, but even if they do not have your notes, you still want to make eye contact with them and not spend all of your time looking down. You want to show you are comfortable looking at your audience. So make sure you memorize your notes, either word by word or the main highlights. Two, you want to give praise to your audience. Praise can be one of the simplest and most powerful tools to engage an audience or any group of people. For example, you can give compliments to people's personalities, their communities, and the work they do. Of course, part of the audience will know what you are doing, but as long as you are sincere, you should be fine. You want to tailor your praise so that it reflects you are familiar with your environment or with the audience and you think highly of them. Three, you want to get personal. Just like sharing a story, you can share a key moment where you learned a life lesson that affected you personally. You do not have to be explicit or detailed with the life lesson, but enough details that gives a good overview of the lesson you learned. Getting personal is a good way to bond with your audience and laying the groundwork for you to then persuade them. Remember, it is not just the argument itself people will bond with, but people bond with you making those arguments. By sharing a revealing story or a personal flaw, you allow audience members a way to identify with you. You show how you are no different from them and that you relate to them. In conclusion, you want to get to know your audience, grab their attention, and connect with them throughout your speech. These are the 3 steps to open your speech. It is easy to focus so much of your time on crafting a speech that sounds appealing to us, but we cannot forget about the audience. For that matter, you want to hook your audience over if you want to succeed with making your argument. It is crucial to have your audience on your side, know they agree with you, and see them nodding along to your statements to have your speech have great power and impact. In the next video, we will talk about effectively using feelings to persuade people. Until then, please like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and turn on the post notifications so you will be notified when I post my next video. I appreciate your support. Remember, you are powerful, you are capable, and you are the changemaker our society needs. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you soon.